Everyone, we're getting set up to go live on Facebook, and we're waiting for our guest who, unfortunately, she's having technical difficulties, we think, so hopefully she'll be on in a minute.
Yeah, so maybe we'll go ahead and introduce the rest of the panelists. I'm Beth Smith. I'm the co-founder of Fashion Mingle. Welcome. Please be sure throughout the webinar to drop your comments, put your name and business name so we can look for you in the Fashion Mingle directory and say hi. It's free to join. If you don't have a profile, be sure to get one. So here we go. Let's start with Kat Schuller. Hi, Kat. How are you?
Hi, Beth. Yeah, I'm fine. We're just moving into Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everyone.
Right.
It's a very important day, and there's a lot going on right now in New York with peaceful protesting, and everyone's awareness is spot on. And I'm just this whole COVID thing just feels like there's so much shifting going on, and we're just trying to right ourselves. And you know, it feels like Me Too and all this stuff just came about, and it's, you know, it's about time is all I can say. So happy Juneteenth, everyone, and just remember the reason for today, and do as much research on it and educate yourself as much as possible. There's a lot of good materials out there, and everyone just seems to really have a heightened interest in this topic, and
yeah,
it's about time, because we're all about diversity. Runway the Real Way, you know, all my runways are always diverse, so I'm just very, very I'm just so happy to see this movement happening. You know,
I'm actually from Texas, and Juneteenth was actually, that's a celebration in Texas, and it's actually about Texas. And I'll just give everybody a little bit of information, because the way they're talking about it on the news, I don't even think some of the journalists understand what it is. But so the reason why it was a celebration in Texas, and I lived in Austin, and like every summer there'd be a big like a party at the park, but what it was commemorating was the fact that none of the slave owners or the government of Texas let slaves know they were free. And when President Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, the news never reached Texas because the government and the slave owners were making sure that the slaves didn't get the news. And then finally, a representative, 2.5 years later, a representative finally made his way down there on horseback from DC and started letting the slaves know that they were free. And so this happened around mid-January, and that's why they call it Juneteenth.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Melissa, Glynis is waiting to be let in. I just thought I'd alert you to that.
Awesome. Okay, participant.
Well, yeah, thank you, Kat. That was very well said, and appreciate you reminding us about this. It's certainly top of mind today for sure. Well, next we have Dee Rivera from DCG Media Group. Woo! I think you probably made this for Melissa and me.
I'll make one for you if you want.
Yeah, we need it. We need it.
Thank you for having me on. I love these weekly panels. Melissa and Beth, I love that you both create diversity in Fashion Mingle, that you include diversity in Fashion Mingle. And I hope that the fashion industry follows your example. So I'm very excited about that, and happy Juneteenth, as dittoing Kat on that. And Melissa, I didn't even know half of the things you just shared. I'm like, that should be a movie.
No kidding, it should be a movie. It should really be a movie.
Like crazy. But I am the CEO of DCG Media Group. We're a branding, advertising, marketing, PR company, and we are based in New York, but we work with all types of lifestyle brands and clients, and it's good to be here.
Yes, great. And we have Shirin Movahed, attorney extraordinaire. Hi, Shirin.
Hi, Beth. Hi, everyone. I just want to share everyone's sentiments here today. Happy Juneteenth. I am honored to be part of this panel every week and share these amazing tips and educating our community. And thank you, Melissa, for educating us today. That is amazing to know that there's so much history that we don't really know about. And until we start educating ourselves to empower ourselves, we're not going to learn and make the changes that are necessary. So I've been doing that as well. I've been trying to educate myself and trying to help my community, which is incredibly diverse. You know, we live in New York City, one of the most diverse cities in the world. So now's the time to really start making those changes that everyone wants to make, and here's their opportunity. So I'm really happy to continuously educate myself and have us educate the community, and together I think we can really all make some real changes happening. And so with that, yes, I am you know, an attorney, a branding lawyer, and I help businesses you know, set up a successful legal foundation for the growth and expansion of their businesses. I help guide them. I'm a strategic legal business advisor. So I'm there to basically hold the hands of my my clients, and you know, share all the experiences that I've had, and help them prevent some of those costly mistakes that can happen. So glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, love that. And also just to let everybody know that Glynis is on her way, and there was a technical difficulty and it was my fault. So, so she will be getting on momentarily. We're going to be talking about SEO today, which is actually something that I have a lot of experience in myself, because when I started out my career, I built websites and did internet marketing. And so as SEO became, you know, a thing, I had to learn it. And the great thing I love about SEO, because most people, I think, hate it, but the thing I love about it is if you know, if you actually put good SEO into your website and your blog articles, if you start out that way, it actually gives you like it gives you value for years and years and years. I was just looking at an article that we put up on Fashion Mingle, I don't know, probably like 5 years ago, and that article, because we did put really good SEO into it, it's gotten over 6,000 views. And so, oh, hi, Glynis. Hey, Glynis, I'm sorry I messed up the link situation.
That's okay. I was wondering what's going on.
my bad.
No worries.
Well, we're so happy to have you. You are based in Canada, and so yeah, why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Melissa and Beth. I'm honored to be here. I'm coming to you from beautiful, sunny Vancouver today. The sun's up, so it's all good. Yeah, so my name is Glynis, and I am a business consultant and SEO specialist. I used to have a clothing brand as well, and 20 years apparel industry experience, and I have 10 years working for corporate, different companies, big brands, as well as running my own clothing design company for a decade as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about your clothing design company.
So my company was called Punch Brand, and we designed a line called Crazy Heads, which was an animal-inspired clothing line that was inspired by anime, Japanese pop culture. So it's very niche, but I had a very devoted fan base, and I think being niche really helped my business in order for it to stay around for a decade, even getting through that 2008 economic crisis. We actually thrived through that and came out of it. And now I'm really using my knowledge and experience to help other designers and entrepreneurs to build a purposeful and profitable clothing business.
And being niche really helps you with your SEO, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah. That's always the best thing you can do when you're starting SEO. Well, I was telling everybody before you popped on how I started out my career in web design, and then like right when I got my degree in graphic design. And so then as soon as websites were invented for the public and for businesses, I started building websites. And then of course we went into the internet marketing. Then, there was the email newsletters and then, you had to start learning SEO because the early days of how websites were found on the internet, Google and all the different search engines were always trying to improve results. And so you had to start learning how to take advantage of the latest changes. And so we at Fashion Mingle, we do always put SEO into our website, into our clients' websites, just like the full, when we're building a site, but also with a blog article, we really do a lot of, we have a strong content marketing strategy where we're always, trying to think of what are those keyword phrases that we need to use so the article get found on the internet. Because if the article is not found, you shouldn't even bother putting it up, right? Is kind of the way I think. So I'm excited to talk to you about it today, because it sounds like you are always learning all the latest techniques, and it's it's something that it's hard to keep up with. And then you're also, I know you work with designers, and you're having something called the Apparel Business Summit. So can you tell us what that's about?
Yes, thank you for mentioning that. So I am hosting an online conference for designers and entrepreneurs and brand owners in the apparel and textiles industry. It's called the Apparel Business Summit. The website is apparelsummit.com, and it's starting June 30th. And the panel, the summit consists of speakers, presenters, and panels that have different industry experts. They're all contributing to it. And there's 9 topics plus the sustainable fashion designer panel discussion as well. And really, these are they're topics that are presented by experts in the industry. I have 2 former executives from Reebok and Lululemon as presenters, and there's a lot of really good, very valuable advice. So anyone who's looking to start, launch, or grow their clothing business, it's definitely worthwhile checking out. And yeah, registration's open now, and we have a special promo code for your audience, and it's Mingle. So just the word Mingle, and they get $50 off the price.
Well, thank you so much for giving our members that special offer. I think it's going to be a really great summit. It sounds very exciting, and I think that these kinds of online summits have just been so helpful for people to really get educated in areas that they may not have an opportunity to hear from important speakers like that.
Definitely. I love collaborating with people. I like bringing people together and, sharing knowledge, really. Awesome. And that was really my whole objective with putting the summit together, was to be able to put together the best, knowledge, education from expert speakers to share with everybody. And hopefully everybody enjoys it and gets a lot out of that.
Wonderful. Now, I think Beth had mentioned to me that you were going to have some slides to show us.
I do. I have a whole presentation, but I didn't want to just make it just you know, all just slides. So
Right.
I don't mind having more of a Q&A discussion.
Okay.
If you have questions, you know, to ask me about it, and maybe I can share slides with you. Kind of when I get into more of the ranking factors,
Okay.
that kind of gets a little more technical, and it might help it to have the visuals
the
to
slides.
show
That'd be
everybody.
great.
But I have the slides all prepared, so I'm ready to share those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. So why don't let's go through an overview about this subject, and then you know how we do these webinars is like we do you and I do a Q&A in the beginning, and then we bring on our mastermind team to ask questions, and we also ask our attendees to post questions in chat. So so let's get started. So the one thing I'd like you to explain is, why is SEO important for a fashion or beauty business to use?
That's a very good question. So let me start off by explaining what SEO is. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, which is the process of getting a website to rank organically at the top of search engine results. Okay, so it's important because 93% of online experiences start with search engine. And so there's like more than 2.8 trillion search queries made on Google every year. So there's a lot of searches that are being performed. So if you want to stand out, your business wants to stand out, definitely you want to show up in search engines. So by optimizing your website for search engines, you're not only improving its ranking, thus being found, but you are also creating a better user experience. And that's the key to SEO. You are optimizing for your visitors and not just for search engines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that too, it's also important to point out that, you know, SEO isn't something that the results and the benefits don't show up overnight. It's a long-term strategy, and that's why content marketing is so helpful with that. I know I've done, like, I've worked with clients for years on you know, SEO, and if you have a niche product, and especially if you're local, that really makes it much easier to rank. But if you're, you know, like a company that has like a national or international business, that's going to be a real challenge, right? Because you've got all these other larger companies ahead of you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It also depends on keyword, the competitiveness of the keyword that you are looking to rank for. So there's head terms and there's long tail keywords, right?
Mm-hmm.
And head terms are more like common words, right? That people search for, but that only makes up for 30% of searches, whereas long tail keywords make up for 70%. And long tail keywords are like ones that consist of 3 to 4 words, like sentences, and that's what people are searching for. But if you actually total up the, you know, all the search volumes for the long tail keywords, actually makes up more. So, and for a new company or a new website, it's just starting out, it's easier to start with the long tail keywords that way. But just kind of wanted to rewind a little bit back in terms of like the search engine results page. So you want to be able to rank in the top 10 results, which is on the first page of Google, because 95% of people never make it past the first page. So that's why it's really important to appear within the top 10 results of the search engine results page. And I just want to explain, like, so actually, yeah, the top 3 results, it accounts for half of the clicks on a search engine result page. So being in the top 3 results is even better. But just to kind of break it down and what, like in terms of what a search engine page looks like, I'm sure everybody's been on Google. When you type in a keyword in the search, you know, you get some results that come up. And then, so you'll see usually at the top, there's paid ads, and there'll be a little like ad like icon next to that result. So those are like paid advertisements, but beneath those would be the organic search results. And so that way you can see, okay, which websites are ranking for this particular keyword.
Yeah, and the Google ad results are, I mean, that does make it more of a challenge for you to get noticed because it's taking up so much part of the real estate on the page. But of course, if you want to be in that real estate, you've got to use Google AdWords, and that can actually be really expensive. And you know, like in my experience, it's about $1,000 a month investment, you know, to really get some traction. So it's not for, you know, small businesses, but you also have to do a lot of testing. So you really got to have a big budget to do that. In my experience, I don't know, do you have any other, you know, thoughts on using Google AdWords?
Yeah, it can be expensive if you don't know what you're doing. Yeah. And it's very confusing. There's no straightforward answer. Google doesn't really help you with that. It's kind of like they kind of count on you to make all these mistakes. Just, you know, make some more money, but
I've had good luck with Google AdWords customer support and them like walking me through setting up ads and giving me advice. The one thing I will say about them is they always are trying new techniques, and so they always want you to try something new, and you don't know if that's going to work, and so you might actually lose money.
I think, you know, it's kind of like SEO, but with some pay-per-click in there in the beginning to help you build some brand awareness.
Yeah.
Because of the pay-per-clicks will help you determine and figure out what your keywords are faster. But it doesn't necessarily mean like you're gonna see a ROI right away. Like even with pay-per-click, it takes time and for Google to actually be able to figure it all out and collect all the data to figure out what your keywords are. But it's part of, I guess, you can use as part of your SEO strategy as well in figuring out which keywords convert better through the pay-per-click that way. Because you are right with SEO, it is a long game. It takes time, it takes patience to see the results.
Absolutely. I do recommend just setting up a Google AdWords account because you could actually go in and use their keyword tool to get ideas without actually paying for ads. You know, you can use those tools to get ideas for your long tail keywords to put in blog articles. You know, how we do content, I mean, content marketing, just for anybody listening, is, you know, it's mostly used in blogging. And I know we have a lot of bloggers in our Fashion Mingle audience, but fashion designers, it's good for them to have a blog too, right?
Yeah, it's good to have a blog, definitely, on your website, even if you have an e-commerce website. I work with a lot of e-commerce companies and Shopify, Squarespace sites. I do encourage them to, because with product pages, you know, they tend to have lower word count on it. So that's why I encourage clients to have a blog on their site as well, that they can you know, produce content and it helps with SEO.
So if you were a designer or say you know, you have beauty products, you know, anything that you would have products in, but you know, like you said, if you have an e-commerce site, it is very hard for those pages to get any traction on the search engines because there's not a lot of text, and text is what tells Google what to return. So you're suggesting that you can use a blog in conjunction with your e-commerce to drive traffic to your e-commerce pages. Can you give us some examples of clients that you've worked with that have had an effective blog strategy that actually drives sales?
Well, because I'm not creating the content myself, and it's not part of the service as an SEO that I offer. I generally encourage my clients produce their own content. The reason being is that you are the expert in your field, in your niche. And I really recommend they write their own content, because to hire a copywriter or somebody who's not necessarily in their niche, you know, they're going to have to research this, and where are they going to get the information? Probably off Google, which may not necessarily be the most original content. So really, I encourage people to produce original content as much as possible, because the content is, definitely content is high ranking factor, and definitely original content, because you are really thinking about it as you want to be able to solve a problem for your client and for your audience who is reading this, right? And so if you are able to write an article and really like focus on quality over quantity, don't worry about like pumping out, you know, content constantly. Yes, consistency is important, but really like focus more on the quality and giving your readers and your audience what they need, and right. That is, you know, to be able to figure out what the problem is that you're trying to solve for them. That'll keep them coming back to your site. So that's what I encourage. I would, as an SEO, give them the keywords to use, but don't start your blog or articles just with all the keywords and trying to like stuff as many keywords into the article as you like. Really write the article with your audience in mind. Write the article first and worry about the keywords later.
Yeah.
Is my advice.
That's kind of like the formula we use is we like sometimes the article will come first, like you know, somebody will submit an article and then I'll have to actually go back and think about, okay, well, how can I edit this to use a keyword phrase that would get it to actually rank. And so my rule of thumb, and I'd love to hear if you've got any suggestions about this, if I'm on the right track or if I should do something differently, but I usually try to use 3 words as my keyword phrase, and I put it in the page title, the meta title, in the meta description, in the first paragraph, and then I have it 2 more times within the text, and then I try to include it or a form of it in an H2 tag somewhere, you know, which is a subheading somewhere else in the article. Does that sound like I'm on the right track, or do you have any additional suggestions?
Yeah, so what you're talking about is on-page SEO. And like, I don't know what their knowledge is of SEO, but I wanted to talk about like how Google actually works. And I wanted to kind of show people what is SEO, because I create a diagram because I'm, as a creative, you know, I understand that we're more visual people, and by talking about like, oh, title tags, meta descriptions, alt tag H1s can be like overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to simplify it and kind of break it down, and maybe I can show you this diagram.
Yeah, go ahead and
or I can explain
show us,
it.
Yeah, show us your let's see. Okay, I've got it set where you can do the screen share now. So go ahead and screen share and show us the slideshow that you put together.
Okay, I'll do screen share here. So hopefully this works.
Yeah, we have a lot of good questions coming in. We'll get to them. Keep them coming. Much appreciated. You know, going back to, that's a good thing to answer because I was wondering that myself. I know you mentioned one way, Melissa, but Taylor Mills, hi Taylor, said, where do we find the keywords? So that's a big thing we should cover too. We keep talking about using them, but how do you get started?
Well, I'll tell you my quick and dirty trip for using it. Because I always keep this in mind. I read in a marketing book one time that everybody who's searching for something on the internet they're looking to solve a problem. It's usually like, how do I, or something like that. But they're trying to solve a problem. They're trying to answer a question. So one of the fastest things you can do to get some keyword ideas is actually go to Google and start typing in a couple of keywords that come from your article, and then Google has these suggested searches that pop up that you can just like click on, and it gives you a whole, because those are popular searches, and so that's how I do it in a really quick way. If I'm trying to come up with something where I can just quickly I've got my article completed and I can just quickly put it in a heading and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully you understand that. I mean, I can always do like a little demonstration too, but Glynis, let's see, why don't we let you take it away and show us this presentation. It looks really nice.
So do you see my screen right now? It says, how
Yes,
does Google
I see
actually
it.
work? Does everyone else see this?
I do.
Okay.
Okay.
So anybody in chat, if you're watching and you don't see it, just put it in chat so we know if we have a problem. Okay, but go ahead. Yeah.
So we're getting into the fun technical part of this SEO now. So that's why I put my little Google bot image here, just to, make it more look fun. So so how does Google actually work? Google has automated software called search bots or spiders. These bots visit web pages in a process called crawling the web. Then they add the pages they crawl to Google's index, which is a huge catalog of trillions of pages. So when people search, Google shows the most relevant results from that catalog. So by optimizing your website with SEO, then you are actually helping Google search your site. Okay, and that's where keywords come in. Images, sites that have a lot of images don't really help Google that much because they don't know what the site's about. And that's why I have a lot of designers. They have beautiful, wonderful websites with lots of images and lookbooks and stuff. But I'm like, you need to add text because Google's not going to know what your site is about. So this is the reason why. Okay, so Google, this is what Google looks at. So did you know there are actually 200 ranking factors?
That sounds horrible.
So these are the factors that Google looks at to be able to rank a website, and it's a lot, it's nuts, right? So, I mean, how do you figure out which ones are the most important? And that's really why in this presentation, like I broke it down so it's more understandable to like give you the top 10 Google ranking factors. And so this is the diagram that I created to help you understand what SEO is. So if you see there's 3 circles, there's technical SEO, on-page SEO, and off-page SEO. So technical SEO refers to the process of optimizing your website for crawling and indexing phases. And so this is kind of stuff that you don't really see. It's kind of behind the scenes that's happening and usually done on your webmaster side. And that can be like site speed. It means like having a site that's SSL secure, so it has the HTTPS in front of it. So website speed is also a ranking factor, and also mobile responsiveness. Okay, so these are part of technical SEO. Yeah.
Okay.
And then so on-page SEO, which is what Melissa talked about in terms of title tags and stuff, that's the practice of optimizing individual web pages in order to rank higher on the search engine result page. And this is stuff that takes place and that you do directly on your website. Okay, so like, so you would do, like with optimizing keywords, you would make sure you put those keywords in your page title tags and meta description. So the title tag is the part that shows up in the search engine results. It's the one that you click on. It's the clickable link. That's the title tag. The meta description are the 2 sentences that are beneath that. So you need to have your keyword in the title tag and the meta description, okay? And also in the H1 headers, which is the main header on your web page, and also on the H2, which is a subheader. And in your content as well, you want to make sure you have that as well several times. And in your image, alt tags, and that's an image alternate tag. It's for the visually impaired, so they can know what is on the page. And so that also helps, because think about usability, right? So those are on-page SEO techniques. And then off-page SEO refers to the actions that are taken outside of your own website that would impact your rankings. And so off-page SEO, there's something called link building. That's a very important SEO strategy, and that's by getting links from other websites to your website. So there's actually 3 types of link building. So there's internal links, which would be links that are linking to other pages within your own website. Okay. There are outbound links. So links that you would be linking to other websites with a high authority, domain authority. And domain authority means a website's ability to rank on the search engine results page. So there's domain authority from 1 to 100, and the higher number that you are, the higher domain authority your website is. And so sites like Wikipedia or YouTube, like they're Facebook, are like, upwards of 90, 100. So that kind of gives you an indication of what the domain authority is. So you want to link to websites with high domain authority. And you also want to get links back to your website from high domain authority websites to you. Like you can look for blogs and that sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense to me. And I will say, just as an example of the off-page SEO, that's one of the things that we thought about when we built our Fashion Mingle platform, because if when you complete a Fashion Mingle profile, you add your website, which is an incoming link. So that would be off-page SEO. And then also you have the ability to add your blog RSS feed and links to articles on your website. So you actually have the ability to get some incoming links that are high value, because if you're a fashion related website and a fashion website like Fashion Mingle is linking to you, that's considered a high value incoming link, right? Because you've got some of the same keywords.
Yeah, go for sites with higher domain authority than yours, ideally. And sometimes, like, for example, say you own a sustainable fashion clothing brand, and you'd want to link to sites like maybe fair trade, or something that's like talks about sustainable fashion, or
get really
trade, like there's
niche.
Yeah, exactly, there's in your niche. Oh, you guys say niche.
So
if
you're a menswear brand, then you'd want to find sites to link to you that would be related to men's styling, men's grooming, things like that. Okay.
Exactly, and reach out to bloggers, leaders, influencers to get that link back to you.
Yeah, it's
because
really
that way
that nowadays.
Yeah, because they're driving the audience traffic to your website. And so, okay, so I don't know if we have time to talk about this in detail, but really it gives you more detail of what I talked about earlier. So everything, all these activities on here have to do with technical SEO. So, you know, these are the top 4 ranking factors when it comes to technical SEO. You want to have a crawlable website. You want to have one that's mobile friendly. You want to make sure your site load time is fast. It's usually around 2 seconds. Anything under 4 seconds is good. 2 seconds.
Yeah,
the
about
longer
2
it takes
seconds.
To load.
Yeah, that's always, that's something you got to be really pay attention to, is how quickly your site loads, and that can be a hard thing to figure out sometimes, especially if you have a lot of graphics on your site or you're running video and things like that.
Yeah, so it's good to compress your files, and there are tools out there that will help you determine what your website load speed time is. There's one called GT Metrics, and you just plug in your website domain, and it'll tell you it'll give you a score. Actually, how fast your site and how quickly your site loads. And just the last thing about here, domain authority URLs, make sure that your URLs are structured like very short URLs. Like, so after your domain, you got /, and then like something like, don't make it, sometimes you have these ones that are really, really long with long URLs. Don't do that. Just shorten up, and also put your keyword in the URL as well. Yeah. So yeah, so that helps with it. So this is all on page SEO stuff here. So we talked about, keyword optimization, using keywords in your page titles, meta descriptions, and H1s, and image alt tags. And then optimizing your content. We talked about that with your blog articles, and really understanding the search intent and writing your blog for your reader, right? And being able to solve the problem. So they want to see you as an authority, a leader in your industry, right? You want to establish that with your readers, and then that they will trust you, build that credibility, and come back and hopefully spend more time on your site. And that's leads to the user experience, which is, increasing your click-through rates and dwell time, and reducing bounce rate.
Cool. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Well, do we have any questions from our panel? Do you guys have any questions for Glynis? How about, let's see, we've got some questions. Beth, can you read off some questions from the attendees?
Sure. Marcus wanted to know if hashtags are examples of SEO.
That's more for social media,
right.
To be found on social media. Social media is off page, sorry. So here, social signals. I didn't talk about social media, but social signals is also a ranking factor when it comes to SEO. I think hashtags are meant to be found like on social media. And I mean, if you put it in as a keyword, like in your article, as long as it makes sense, but I just won't be sticking them all over the place. Like, think about with your reader, right? So if they're seeing reading an article, like a whole bunch of hashtags in there, it doesn't really, it's not very natural, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to do keyword stuffing.
No, keyword stuffing means that you're using the keyword like in an unnatural way, like 100 times. Like back in the day, SEO, it used to be a lot easier for a website to rank organically because they would use a technical keyword stuffing, and they would just stick that keyword in there like 100 times on the page, and then you would rank #1. But Google's gotten a lot smarter and, a lot more advanced, like now they're really focused on usability. And yeah, that technique doesn't work. It's called black hat. You want to stay away from black hat techniques, and really, try to do things properly.
Dee's got a question. Dee, what do you have to ask Glynis?
Okay. Hi, Glynis. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I have to speak loud because my speaker is a little off. You mentioned the website of how you could rank to see where your website. What was the name of that again?
Oh, for the domain authority?
To rank your website, to see where your website stands.
I think you're asking me about the domain authority. So I had some tools here. So the site speed one, to test your website load speed, there's a GT metrics. And Google also has site speed test. And you were asked for domain authority, there's a Mozbar extension.
Okay.
The Mozbar extension is a plugin. It's you can add it to Chrome, into your Chrome browser, and it'll tell you what a website's domain authority is.
And so you said the higher the number, the better. Is that what you were saying on the domain authority?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's from 1 to 100.
1 to 100. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just say, okay, well, I want to rank number 90. Like, you got to look at within your own industry, right? Fashion or beauty, and and competitors' websites, what their domain authority is. Okay, so that's why you go use this Mozbar extension and see, you'll plug in your competitors' websites and see what their domain authority is. And then you see what yours is.
Okay.
And that's where you can see, okay, where's the gap?
Now I see you've got SEMrush on here. I've used the paid version, and then right now I have a free version, but that can be super helpful when you're looking at competitors. And even with the free version, you can get a little bit of information about your competitors, but the paid version is very insightful.
Yeah, well, I use that because I use it for my work. But like with SEMrush, we're able to generate reports. I create projects for all my clients, and I set up a position tracking. I put in all the keywords in there, and I'm able to see how their website's performing over time. From when we start, I usually start with a baseline, I run an audit report, show them what the health of their site looks like, and if there's any major errors that come up that need fixing, and you see that baseline, right? And then over time, you'll be able to see the progress and how the keywords are ranking.
Right. Yeah, and it is definitely, I mean, there are basic things you can do if you're like just putting SEO in your blog. Like you said, you really encourage your clients to write their own content, put in their own SEO. But to really rank, you really, if you're very serious about ranking your website, you really do need to have some professional help. Don't you agree? I feel like it's a very hard thing for someone to just do on their own because of tools like what SEMrush has is
there's
pretty complicated platform to set up.
Yeah, there's free tools out there as well. Like there's Google Keyword Planner, there's Uber Suggest that will help you with your keyword research and understanding it. I think everyone should have a basic knowledge and understanding of what SEO is. If you are a business owner, you should at least understand this, like what I presented, and have a basic knowledge before, whether you decide to do it yourself or decide to hire someone, you need to understand it. And if you decide to do it yourself, if you have the time, try it out, right? Do some keyword research. There's tools out there that you can access. If you don't have time, your job should be running your business, right? And doing what you're good at, not learning search engine optimization. If that takes away your time from your running your business, then it's good to outsource it. But really, just
But if you're
understand
going
it.
to sell, if you need to use your website to sell your services or your products, it's critically important. You have to, unless you're going to put in a ton of money into paid advertising.
Yeah, and especially this time now, during this, you know, the stay-at-home, people are online most of the time.
Right.
They're shopping online, and your website needs to be visible, and it's really now a good time to stand out. And because SEO takes time, 3 to 6 months down the road, right? And that's why it's a really good time to start now, get that going. I know my clients who counted a lot of shows and markets and shows as a large percentage of the revenues, but with that not happening anymore, they've had to go online. And they said, oh, I've been neglecting my website all this time, but now it's actually forced me to go in and look at it. But you know, that's a good thing, right? That's going to help you down the line.
Absolutely. Beth, do we have any more questions from our attendees?
Yeah, we do. Daniel wants to know, what about Neil Patel? They charge bloggers $900 a month for marketing. Is that the same as Google AdWords? And how is AdSense different from AdWords exactly?
I'm not sure how Neil Patel works in that regard and what he charges
I would
for
say
it.
use his free advice, but don't pay $900.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I'm like, who the hell is Neil Patel?
He's like, you know, he's a guru. And I mean, he has lots of great information and stuff like that. And there are so many people in the SEO and content marketing world that are great to follow, because you can really, you know, you get a better understanding. But yeah, you don't want to drop that kind of money. There's other ways to spend that kind of money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Glynis, do you want to talk about the difference between AdWords and AdSense?
I'm not really like a PPC person.
Okay.
So I didn't really want to get into the
I have a little bit of
ads, but if Melissa, you haven't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a different, you know, I can't, like, it's been quite a few years since I've done anything with AdSense. But I think you can, Daniel, you can definitely like Google that question, and you know, there should be a lot of comparison articles come up. I've had a lot of experience with AdWords, and so I'm more familiar with using that product. But AdSense is something, I think it's where you're like, AdWords, now it's starting to come back to me. AdWords is where I would post an ad, you know, and it would show up in Google, but then AdSense allows you to run your ad on lots of different websites in their marketing, in their AdSense system. So it's, you know, it is a different way of advertising.
I just want to say something, Melissa, too, that Google has these complimentary tutoring courses and classes. So if you look at your local city with Google Coaching or Google Coaches, you could actually go there, make an appointment, and they will help you with your website, and they'll teach you Google Ads, Google, you know, because it obviously
I've heard about
they're
those.
going to teach you everything you know so that you could do that, but just giving
you will get a lot of good advice, and like I said, I've when I've had AdWords accounts, I've had good luck with talking directly to Google to have them help me, you know, set up my ads correctly. So I would assume AdSense, you know, would have the same thing. Beth, do we have another question?
We do. Tayleen would like to know, let me go back up to her question here. Let's see, where is it? Sorry, there's so many here. We did get a lot of comments, by the way, while I'm looking for that our attendees would like a copy of your PowerPoint, Glynis, so they can refer back to it. So we could send the attendees a link to that, if you don't mind. Just wanted to put that out there. And she wanted to know that she has a blog on her website, but she's not getting any comments and very little views. What can she do about that?
Well, how long has a blog been around? Is it a new blog?
I don't know. Would you like to answer that? Or I don't know if she's still on. I guess we could come back to that if she leaves a comment.
Yeah, has she tried doing any SEO on it? And
she said 4 years.
Oh, 4 years. Okay. She's getting very little traffic on it.
Mm-hmm. Or view.
Yeah, can she tell like which blog she's getting most hits on it, or which is her most popular blog? You probably go take a look on Google Analytics,
right?
See what's coming in,
mm-hmm.
and see what's special about that blog,
mm-hmm.
right? And go in and improve your content. Don't go and write more stuff. Go in and fix it, because you want to update your content regularly. It's not just about creating new content, but updating the current content as well helps make it as relevant, right? If so, there's some facts and stuff that's outdated. You want to update your content. Don't date your stuff. Don't put like dates in the URLs because it's going to trigger. Yeah, exactly. Don't put dates on there. Maybe
Yeah, we always try to make our content evergreen. So I have done this technique in the past where like I'll have articles up on my website and then I'll go back and look at them maybe a couple of years later and think about updating them to like just make them better or provide more current information. Does that help at all with the ranking on that particular blog post if you update it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. Update your content for sure.
Yeah.
Look
I mean,
at
I know like the concern that she had is that she's had this blog for 4 years and she's not getting a lot of traffic. I mean, there's a ton of reasons why that could be. But, definitely making sure that you have a really good descriptive heading and that the content is good quality content that people are going to spend some time on, they're going to read, they're going to share. And then of course, putting it out on social media is really great, just to keep it out there in the ecosystem. So if you wrote it, like depending on how much content you have, you could repost it to Facebook every couple of months. You could put it out on Twitter. I mean, what do you think about reposting the same article to Facebook to bring in new traffic?
Yeah, like a well-written content that gets lots of traffic and readership on it can stay, relevant. It's like definitely like share it as much as you can. Like part of it is repurposing your content, right? And get it onto as many platforms as you can. So make it shareable. Another tip is include graphics or what do you call those? Iconographs, some kind of graphics, something like images in your blog as well. Infographics. Those really help, having images and stuff in there, having video embed. Also in your blog, make it shareable, so you know how you can put some kind of a thing for people to share on
social media badges.
Right. Exactly. That encourages people to share.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I really appreciate all of your time. We've gone a little bit over today, but it was really great to have this conversation. I know we did have more questions, and so what I'll do is I'll go through the chat questions and respond to everybody individually and connect you. And then also you can definitely log into Fashion Mingle and go to Glynis's profile and send her a chat message so you guys could communicate that way as well. And so Glynis, you offer these services. Do you have any kind of packages, or can you give people an understanding of like what it would cost to actually retain your services?
Well, it depends on the site. So right now, what I actually wanted to mention was that if you are like a new brand or emerging designer, I'm offering business consulting, free 30-minute consultation session. Or if you have an existing business or e-commerce website, you can contact me for a complimentary website assessment, and I will run an audit and to tell you what your website's health is and provide recommendations. So feel free to reach out to me. Can I give them my email address?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Or go
That's
through
up to
Fashion
you.
Mingle. Yeah, so my email address is hello@glynistao.com.
Okay.
My Instagram handle's @glynistao.com.
Yeah, you can always DM, and I see like you've got Chase Your Dreams behind you in the window. Is that like the name? I think I saw that on your Instagram, right?
That is my company name
Uh-huh.
and my podcast. I also have a podcast for fashion entrepreneurs as well.
Wonderful.
It's called Chase Your Dreams.
Love
Named
it.
after my son's name is Chase.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So yeah, check out the podcast as well, because there's a lot of good resources on there as well.
Cool. Well, that sounds wonderful. Thank you so much for offering free consultations. That's so important for people in creative industries to be able to have an opportunity to talk with you about how to position their marketing. We can't have successful businesses unless we're investing in our marketing, and it's really important to get started off right. And if you have a website that is not getting any traffic, I definitely recommend one of the first things you do is just get in there and get your SEO set up correctly. Don't wait any longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, wonderful. We'll definitely, it was so great to get so many questions from everyone. I'm sorry we ran out
On
of
the
time,
30th.
but we'll definitely go through all the questions and get back to you and make sure you have the information on how to contact Glynis. Thanks, everybody. Have a great
Bye.
weekend.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone.